सभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembly, glories to the assembly, glories to the assembly, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानशलाकया तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा।
Very, very happy to be here amongst all of you. Although I have been here only today, I was meeting different groups of devotees, but this is the first public program. I believe you have a weekly program going on here. And I was asked to speak on verse 3.21. It's a very famous verse. Does anyone know which one it is? 21st verse of the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tat evetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokasta anuvartate. How many of you have heard of this verse? Please raise your hand. Okay. It's a very important verse because it pertains to everybody. So please, is it up on the board? No. Okay. So you please repeat after me. Yad yadacharati shreshthah tat evetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. Yad yad acharati shreshthah tat evetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. Yad yad acharati shreshthah tattadevetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanuvartate. Would do from the Prabhu Prabhu side and two from the Mataji side like to chant this verse.
Yat yat acharati shreshtaha
Yat acharati shreshtaha
tat eva karo janaha
tat eva karo janaha
yat pramanam kurute
sayat pramanam kurute
lokastat anuvartate
lokastat anuvartate yad yad acharati shrestha tat tat eva karo janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate.
Mataji side two.
Yat yat acharati shrestha tat tat evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate yat yat acharati shrestha tat tat evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastat anuvartate
Yat yat.
yat yat
Whatever.
whatever
Acharati. He does. Shresthaha.
Shresthaha,
A respectable leader.
a respectable leader,
Tat.
tat
That.
tat
Tat. And that alone.
and that alone
Eva.
eva
Certainly. Itaraha.
itaraha
Common. Janaha. Person. Saha. He. Yat. Whichever. Pramanam. Example. Kurute. Does perform. Lokaha. All the world. Tat. That. Anuvartate. Follows in the footsteps.
follows in the footsteps.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Srila Prabhupada's purport. People in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra, scripture, to teach the common man. The teacher cannot manufacture rules against the principles of revealed scriptures. The revealed scriptures like Manu Samhita and similar others are considered the standard books to be followed by human society. Thus, the leader's teaching should be based on the principles of such standard shastras. One who desires to improve himself must follow the standard rules as they are practiced by the great teachers. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with the standard books of moral and spiritual codes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So how many of you are leaders? Please raise your hand. Actually, every one of you is a leader. Everyone. There is nobody who is not a leader. It is only a question of who are those who are supposed to follow us. Because every one of us has influence over somebody or something. Even if you are parents, you have children, then you are supposed to be a leader for the children. Then you are supposed to set an example for the children to follow. So the leader is not necessarily one who is a very famous king or a president or a prime minister. That is a big political leader. But even an ordinary person in the world today is a leader. Because we are leading the way for someone. By our example, by our words, we teach someone something. So therefore, every single individual, we are leaders. And especially when we are devotees, then we are certainly leaders. Because we are setting the path or setting the example for others. So if we act wrongly, then that will set a bad example. So then people will imitate, thinking, oh, these people are doing this, therefore we will also do this. The spiritually minded people are doing this, therefore we can also do this. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, who are some of the leaders? He says here, the king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. Anyone who has any responsibility towards anybody else is a leader. So tell me, do you have any natural responsibility towards anybody else?
Of course.
Now, how many of you are leaders? Please raise your hand. Yes, we are all leaders. Because we all have to set a good example for someone. We all are meant to help someone move ahead, to guide people to move on in their life and make a success of life. Because when we speak of leader, generally people think of some big president or a king or a prime minister. But Prabhupada mentions here even the parent, the school teacher, even the elder brother and sister, all are leaders. And as devotees, we are meant to be leading the society on how to lead a good life, a successful life. So we are all leaders. But of course, it doesn't mean we should say, well, now I'm a leader. Very nice. I was told today in Bhagavad Gita class that I'm also a leader today. What are the qualities of a leader? What is the first and most important qualification of a leader? Anyone raise your hand, please? Yes. Character. Okay. Not wrong, it's certainly important. Something else? Yes? Humility, okay. Not wrong, very important, but
Follow what he preaches.
follow what he preaches, very good. Okay, correct? Yes? Lead by example, excellent. Knowledge, very right. Values, excellent. Initiator, very nice.
Follow the scriptures.
Follow the scriptures. That's what I'm looking for. Leader is first and foremost one who is a follower. Unless you are a good follower, you cannot be a good leader. Because, as Prabhupada mentions here, leading the way for the wrong activities. So you see, a leader may often have many characteristics which are attractive to people at large. Like say Hitler. He was such a charismatic leader. When he used to go to the liquor bars and he would stand on the tables and he would start speaking. And when he spoke, by the power of his oratory, he would mesmerize people. And they would all be just hearing him with rapt attention. And in this way he took over a whole country and he controlled them and inspired them in an unprecedented way. Because he had certain charisma, he had certain abilities. He could influence the minds of people in a way that changed the course of history in the 20th century. And that impacted the lives of millions and millions of people. One man can have such an impact on this world. But the problem is that he was acting whimsically. He was not a follower himself. He just had some natural abilities to influence other people. So even though he was a leader from the common point of view, but actually from the scriptural point of view, as Srila Prabhupada explains here, he was not really a good leader. Because he was leading people in a wrong direction. Prabhupada mentions here that first and foremost, the leader must lead according to the directions of the scriptures and not whimsically. And therefore, understanding what the Lord wants, what Krishna wants, what the great acharyas want is a very important consideration before someone can be qualified to be called a true leader. To lead the way to where? When we say a leader is the one who leads. So we lead the people on somewhere. When I was in school, we had a poem. I don't know how many of you have read this poem. It was an English poem called The Pied Piper of Hamelin. How many of you read this poem? Raise your hand. Yes. So what is the feature of this Pied Piper of Hamelin? Anyone knows? He was playing the pipe. He was a musician. And in those days they had a plague, a deadly disease. And then he played the pipe and all the rats who were there causing the epidemic of plague, they all followed him and he led them all into the river and they all drowned. So you can lead rats, you can lead you. Where do you lead them? That's the question. What is the direction in which you are going? Prahlad Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam speaks something very important. Nate viduhu swartha gatim vishnu durashaya ye bahirarthamanina andha yathandhaye upadiyamana steti shitam trayam urudam varthaha. He says, there are certain people in this world who do not know. Nate viduhu. What is it they do not know? Swartha. Swa artha. Artha means benefits, swa means for the self. So most people in this world do not know what is for their own benefit. What are those things or activities, etc., that will actually be truly beneficial for them? Most people do not know. They do not know that the ultimate goal of life and the ultimate beneficial activity for everyone is Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Nate swartha gatim hi Vishnu. So the ultimate destination that is beneficial for all to obtain is to become Krishna conscious. So why is it that most people in the world do not have this idea or this knowledge or this understanding about Krishna being the ultimate goal of life, that this is where we must go in our life and this is where we must lead others also to come behind us in our life? Why is it that people don't realize this? Durashaya. Because their hearts are full of bad desires, bad aspirations. Asha means hopes. Do, the word do indicates negative, something bad. Because their hearts are full of negativity, or full of bad desires, not the right kind of desires. And what are the bad kind of desires? Bahi artha maninaha. They have these bad desires because they consider the things of this world to be very valuable. Bahi means those external objects. Arthamaninaha. They consider them very valuable. So they consider money to be very valuable. They consider position and prestige in this world to be very valuable. They consider big house and big car and sense enjoyment of this world to be very valuable. So you see, whatever you consider valuable in your life, you will try to attain that. If you consider money as the most valuable thing, then you will do anything and everything to get money. You will do anything necessary to get money. If you consider sense enjoyment to be the most valuable thing in life, then you will do anything and everything to get sense enjoyment. Similarly, if you consider Krishna consciousness as the most valuable thing in life, then we will do anything to become Krishna conscious. It depends on what we consider valuable. So Prahlad Maharaj's opinion, which is an opinion we should take very seriously, because he is not an ordinary soul. He is a great devotee, a great learned person, is that Krishna consciousness is the most valuable thing in our life. Last time when I was here in Singapore, I remember giving this example, but that was 1 year ago, so I'll repeat it. Srila Prabhupada said that all the so-called valuable things of this world, the things that we consider valuable, are like zero. Our money is like a zero. Why is it like a zero? We may get annoyed. What is this? Money is zero? How is that? Why is money zero? Because when we die, and we are all going to die, isn't it? One day. So when we die, are we going to take even $1 or 1 cent with us? No. Nothing. Absolutely no money we can take away with us. So what is the value? Zero. Similarly, our house, zero. Our intelligence, zero. Our beauty, zero. Our prestige and position in the society, zero. All the enjoyment of this world, zero. Now, I will take a mathematics quiz for all of you. Let us see how much you remember of your high school mathematics. Now, double zero is how much?
Zero.
Huh?
Zero.
Sure? You add another zero. How much is it?
Zero.
All of you are really scholars. You add another zero. Still zero. You add 100 zeros.
Still zero.
Still zero. Okay, now, suppose you have only 1 zero, but in front of it you add 1 number. Then multiplies. And then after that you add another 0.
100.
Multiplied by 10 times. Then add another 0 after that. Another 10 times. So, is the 0 valuable or not?
Depends.
What should be your answer?
Depends.
Depends, that's the answer. It depends whether the zeros are all by themselves or whether there is a number in front of them. If there is no number in front of them, then the zeros are useless. But if the zeros follow something very valuable, something very important, the number one, then every zero becomes very valuable. So similarly, is our money valuable? Depends. On what? Whether I can enjoy it in Singapore or in America. No. What does it depend on?
Where do I use it?
Where is that one? Who is that one? Krishna. So if I'm going to use that money for Krishna's service, that zero or that money is valuable.